Then we don't need separate audio tracks, do we, as well?
Yeah. So we can just keep the one audio track.
So keep it running. I think Dan stopped, so Dan needs to do another
I've saved my audio and I'm ready to come back in again. So we are live again. We're live back again on YouTube. We are fine. It's working.
Technical difficulties.
I'm recording 3, 2,
whoa.
1.
Spicy.
Bang on.
What did I miss?
Ben speaking about Curse of the Dead Gods.
Just move on to.
You have to catch
Just move
up.
on, Lewis. Just move on.
You have to watch you have to listen to the pod back. Dan, coming to you. What have you picked up? What have you played?
Oh shit! Picked up some art, which I'll try and grab.
Wow.
Books, art. What is this?
It's not like he's been away from his mic or had his headphones off for the last little while. He's got to go and get the art now.
This has all gone very highbrow, guys. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, well, when I bring out my spin-off podcast, it would just all be books. I'd just be like, "Yeah, we have another book on my wing back." Blah blah blah.
First off, General Kenobi, Star Wars figure. There you go.
Nice.
That's from what? That's from the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. That one.
No, it's from Star Wars, idiot.
Nice.
Clone Commander Wolf. There we go. Nice little.
Nice.
Fine. That's okay. There you go. That's it. Clone Commander Wolf again, but in the bigger version because they go for a lot of money. So there we go. And it was Pete's wedding, and for my stag present, didn't get me a watch. He just got me a fucking giant Grogu.
Nice.
Imagine how big that would look in Mark's hands.
Yeah. Oh. Where's the hole? I love how Ben went. It's just all got a bit highbrow as Dan turned away, and then he came back with just a load of action figures. Is this highbrow for you, Ben?
His little Grogu in my hands. Oh,
awesome.
There he is. Oh, there he is. Oh, here's Mark. Oh.
Well played.
And then I've got this giant bit of art.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice.
That is lovely.
Where is that going? Where's it going?
I don't know yet because I've got the same guy who did the Zelda art up above me. I don't think I've ever shown you that, Mark.
So let's actually describe what that is because you've just held it up for the audio listeners.
Yeah, so
what have you got there?
This guy called
Massive
Willow.
helmet, isn't it?
It's a giant helmet. A guy called Willowstration that I follow on Instagram for a while, and he occasionally does stuff through that bottleneck gallery, and I absolutely adore the Clone Wars cartoon, and he did a print of it, which is the helmet of one of the clones, and it's Captain Rex, and then you've got Ahsoka kind of in that as well, and it's possibly the best Star Wars content, including the Bad Batch that they've released recently, aside from like the original trilogy. So it's fucking fantastic, really, really cool. And the Mandalorian as well, obviously including that. But the guy that kind of runs it, the showrunner, that I'm forgetting his name right now, who does the Mandalorian as well, absolutely fantastic. And then I got this as well. This nice little, cheeky little.
Oh yeah.
Which I can't.
2DS XL.
Can't show Mr. Hackman yet. But Pikachu on the back looking sexy.
Oh yeah,
it's a case.
Lovely little beast.
You got a case on that.
Yeah, it's a case.
Yeah.
It's a little shell case thingy. So there you go, cheeky.
I didn't know you could get those for the XLs.
You can't get too many of them, so it's only 1 or 2 of these left, and I got 1 of 2 left on Amazon from what's the name of the third-party provider that does loads of first-party stuff with Nintendo.
PowerA.
PowerA, yeah.
I don't know, it's PowerA.
Oh.
I'll find
PDP?
out. Might be PDP. I'll find out. But yeah, that's it. So that's all of my pickups. I got Persona 5 Strikers as well, which I haven't played yet because I'm not going to play that until I've finished Persona 5 Royale.
On PS5?
On PS5. So I got that. I also got Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I bought for less than what I traded it in for. And I also got Dragon Quest 11 on the PS4 because I was like, the game didn't really gel with me when I was playing it on Switch. So maybe if I buy it for a different console, it'll make more sense. So
Blobby things.
wee blobby things. I know. Yeah.
Hori.
Hori, that was who it was.
Well done, Eamon.
Eamon, you sexy slag. That was
You
perfect.
win something.
Respect.
Just give him something.
Love.
In the face.
Don't know about that.
You win a special role on Discord for a week.
A barm cake.
A bomb.
Special barm cake.
The barm cake roll. Barm cake roll on Discord.
In terms of playing, finished Final Fantasy VII Remake at the weekend. That game, and absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. I was going inside. There's like a part where in the traditional game you get to Walmart, and there's a few interesting kind of like storylines there. The game really kicked in at that point. It was maybe like, well, in hindsight, I thought it was like 80% of the way through. It wasn't. It was about 35%. Only 26 hours. I completed all the side quests to complete the game. From that Walmart point on, I'd probably say it went from being like a 6 out of 10 to a solid like 9.5, 9 out of 10. It's specifically like some of the things it does in the last maybe 2 hours of the game are completely different to what the original Final Fantasy VII did. But it opens up like a realm of possibility, which is, without going too much into spoilers again, very similar to like how Marvel handles their cinematic universe and the different kind of universes that occur within its equilibrium. So yeah, really, 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 really excited for what they're going to do with the next version, and thoroughly enjoyed the game. So a bit of an odds of what to start next. I've kind of got Lost of Us 2 booted and Red Dead Redemption 2 as well, ready to go, which I'm looking forward to.
Don't fancy Persona 5? Finishing that off?
I've got a weird kind of like similar to what you have, where I've got a great vision of it in my head, where it is like the definitive JRPG still for me, and the content of it and the aesthetic of it still rules supreme, but I'm not ready for it yet. It feels like something I want to. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I finished games that I kind of regretted doing when I was younger, I had like a weird kind of melancholy after it, where I was like, oh, I feel really bad about finishing it, and I'm still like that way with Persona 5, where I don't want to go back and finish it until I've got some vision of what's going to happen in the future. And Shin Megami Tensei 5 might be that. But I've not seen enough about it yet to think that it might be the game that scratched that itch. So,
yeah, never about a game that I've not finished, but often about games that I have finished. That kind of melancholic feeling of,
yeah,
I'll never have that first experience with this game again.
Yeah,
literally never be this happy again.
Yeah, I had it with first ever JRPG, Final Fantasy VIII, and I finished it, and it really, like, it was only a young guy, maybe 10, 11, 12, and felt gutted about it. I'm happier when I found Final Fantasy VII in like a local HMV, and I started playing that. And then obviously 9 came out a couple of years later, and 10 a couple of years after that. But yeah, I don't want to have that feeling with it, and it's really, really weird, and it's making me. It's humbling. I think it's a feeling as a gamer to be like, I don't want to complete a game that possibly when I do finish it, it's going to make me feel sad that it is finished. And I see that a lot with people that didn't complete Breath of the Wild. Weirdly,
Mark's one of them, right?
I never completed it
for that reason. Or?
Oh yeah, that's.
No, I just don't tend to. I'm not very good at finishing open world games in general. Actually, like Skyrim, I don't think I went and did the sort of final bits. I just keep getting bogged down in doing the side quests and trying to be as leveled up as possible and just correcting Coroxies and just exploring.
Yeah.
I'm an explorer by nature, and that will be the case if I'm playing like a 2D side scrollery one. If there's like a boss and there's like places to explore that I haven't explored yet, and I don't need to kill the boss first, I will go and do the exploration stuff first and avoid the boss. So it's a bit of a stupid thing I've got.
I was talking to a mate about it in work before, and I likened it to, that first kind of week that you've lived out for the first time when you've been living with your parents for God knows how many years, and you have a takeaway on a Sunday, and you're like, whoa, this is amazing. I can do this now. I've got that freedom. like when you were younger and you had games and you could only play them so many times and you maybe played the completion so many times, like finishing a JRPG was almost like completely different to any other game, where you finished it and you didn't want to go and replay it again because the memory of it was similar to like finishing something profound as a book. So yeah, now that I don't have, or now that I've got the luxury of playing other games, I think like the child part of me is going, don't finish it, so that when you eventually do, I don't know. I probably need to go and have therapy to like explain it. It's fucking weird. But yeah, it's just a really weird block where I just can't get around to it. So yeah, it's weird. Got the Persona 5 Royal version. I've got the premium version staring at me with a massive giant box I've ripped. I literally can't fucking even play the game because I'm scared to finish it, which is crazy.
Okay. And I've heard that you need to have played. Well, it's better to have played Persona 5 before you play Strikers. Is what
Apparently
I've heard.
so,
Yeah.
Which again just baffles me by the fact I bought that the other week, but I had like 70 quid in game credit and I was like riding high and I thought, it's only £24. So
Bargain.
That's a good question.
All right. Well, this section's lasted what seems like 4 days. I have a couple gone through everyone. Everyone's done their pick up and plays because
I've forgotten.
Remember. Okay, let's. There's nothing else. Let's move on to memory slot.
ooh.
Memory slot. With the Indie World presentation this past week, we've decided to discuss or note the best indies that we've never played before. I'm going to stay with you, Dan. Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so I picked on Braid more so from the fact that I absolutely adore industry mavericks, and Jonathan Blow, the guy that made Braid, seems to be one of those people where he's made Braid 2, whatever it is, and then The Witness as well, and puzzle games predominantly with usually some sort of aesthetic to it or mechanic to it that makes it a bit more intricate. And I've always kind of looked at the games that he's made and gone like, oh, I should play that. I've got The Witness. I think it came out with PS Plus a couple of months ago.
And
then
it's part of the play at home thing, I think, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, it was.
So, yeah.
So yeah, I've got The Witness. Makes perfect sense. But Braid's one that, similar to like Bastion, that kind of era of games where I've got this kind of golden age of indie in my head. I just never got around to playing it. So I don't know if anyone else ever played it, because I don't know.
I've played it. I played both Braid and The Witness, actually.
Never.
Oh,
Both
okay.
cool.
Yeah. Cool. What was The Witness on? What as did you play on?
I think I had like a
Switch,
PS3. I think.
Oh shit! Okay, it was that late. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. It could have been maybe I was
Because
borrowing a PS4.
that makes
or
sense,
something.
doesn't it? Because it was like 360 era when that kind of Xbox Arcade and the indie boom kind of took off, isn't it?
It's such a shame that there isn't. Like, I can see The Witness being perfect actually for the Steam Deck, because it is the game you can just drop in. Ben, get that, mate. If it's well, it will be. So yeah, it'd be perfect for that.
Yeah, but the Braid kind of aesthetic of it, even the art style, hasn't dated at all, and it still seems mechanically sound now, which you don't really get that with AAA games. Like, I'll go back and play The Witcher 3, and I'll see the faults in it now in a kind of modern gaze. But when you go back and play, or you look at Braid, and you think, fuck me, like, this is a genuinely great game that's been made by a couple of people. With an interesting mechanic to it. Like, why wouldn't I go back and play it? So yeah, it's probably something in my gaming vocabulary that I need to jump back into.
Well,
Yeah,
when
completely.
you pick up an Xbox at some point, Dan, now that you've sold your Series S, £6.75 on the Xbox Store.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's been on my
Result-
wish list for a while.
Also one that I want to play. I've heard a lot about it, and I think I basically know the story, but it hasn't put me off wanting to play it.
Yeah. It just looks really interesting. Jonathan Blow seems like a eclectic guy, interesting fellow. So yeah, I'm interested.
Nice. Anything else?
No, that's it. Keeping it trim, unlike me.
Speaking of keeping it trim, it's not you, Mark. Ben?
Yeah, I mean, like Dan, I missed out on the whole first wave of indies. Like, obviously, I'm massively passionate about them now, but back then I was like, oh, this isn't FIFA, this is shit. So like anything from that era, so like Cave Story, Fez, games like that, and obviously they're both available on all platforms now, as far as I know. Fez, I was listening to the Game Club playlist the other day, and I think Fez was one of the games that was put forward, and I think it's like £15 on the Switch, but then again on the Xbox Store, I think it's about £7. So I'm tempted to just get it on there because that looks like something I would very much enjoy, despite I think the developers renowned as being a bit problematic. But the one that I have been most looking forward to playing is Spelunky and Spelunky 2. And this got announced yesterday. They are actually coming to Switch on the 26th, which is a week away, isn't it? No, 2 weeks away.
2 weeks.
So that is quite exciting. That looks like just every kind of game and every mechanic that I love, from playing Boulder Dash on the NES to really enjoying SteamWorld Dig 1 and 2. And this has got like a roguelike element to it as well, I think.
Yeah.
It just looks incredible. So I'm almost certain that I will love both of those games.
I remember,
very excited.
A while back, I think Andrew and Steve spoke about it, and I bought Spelunky 2. And I've had it on I think I had it on PS4, but PS5 for a while. And I played about 2 hours of it, and I was like, this is going to be... I don't want to play any more of it. I paid for it, but I don't want to play any more for it, because I know this is going to be a perfect Switch game. So it kind of paused me at that stage. So yeah, I'm probably day one for that. And I think it'll be the game that probably brings me back to the Switch for the first time in a while. So
yeah, same. Unless it happens to come out Game Pass day one and they just haven't announced it yet, and then it might be a slight tricky one. And just obviously, Dan, just because you're here as well, Moonlighter has been one that I have just always had on the backlog.
Yeah.
But never got around to for one reason or another. But it looks like something I would love. But just indies in general, man, they're so much easier to get passionate about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know why, if it's like just something about championing the little guy or whatever it is, but they seem cooler, and because generally the experiences are more sort of condensed, and I don't know, it just
sometimes they're just better.
Quite honestly,
there are Metroidvanias that are better than the mainline ones. I think if I compare Samus Returns to, and other people have done this comparison, but like a lot of people prefer, say, SteamWorld Dig 2 to that. I would say I prefer like Axiom Verge probably to Samus Returns. So yeah, I mean, an Axiom Verge like a tenner versus like 40 quid or whatever Samus Returns cost me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, not to get too into the weeds, but
yeah,
Metroid Dread coming out now, it's going to be interesting. Like, obviously it's got a broader appeal because it's a Nintendo first party game, but really when it comes down to it, is it going to review as well as Hollow Knight?
Yeah, exactly.
It's difficult to imagine it being
50 quid for a Hollow Knight. What is like a tenner?
Yeah, or like I've said before, I kind of want to give. I bought the physical version of Hollow Knight. I didn't need to, but like I want Team Charity to just have more money.
Yeah.
I think Hollow Knight like is like what, £11, but it's worth so many times more than that.
Definitely.
Just on Moonlighter, I've tried it and I didn't get on with it, but because it is held in such high esteem by Dan, I do want to give it another shot. And I did give it a go after he went on about Moonlighter. So shut up. I do want to give it another go. With any game, you need to be in the right frame of mind, the right mood.
I think Moonlight is one of those where if you can get through the first kind of like introduction to the dungeon and not be put off by that part, and if you make it to the shop and then hear that music playing, sell a couple of wares, and then it hooks you because you can see what the the routine of the game, what the mechanic is, then that's the pullback. It's so charming. It's such a fun game. I'm desperate to see another version of it come out soon. So
incredible soundtrack by David Fenn as well.
Ridiculous.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
like having not even played the game, I can just listen to that album over and over again.
It's literally what used to send Jesse to sleep for the best part of, I don't know, like 8 months. It's so quaint. I love it.
Brilliant.
I think for me, there are a couple that I own already, and they've always been recommended to me after my love of the Little Nightmares games, and that's Inside and Limbo.
Yeah.
I have. So I took them out of the archive. They're unarchived at the moment, so they're ready to go. So I'm looking forward to jumping into them at some point. Whether that might be in the next week, I don't know, but definitely on the list for the next month or so. I know that, Ben, you've rated them highly, or at least one of them.
Yeah, I haven't played Limbo, but Inside is I'm going to say it, it's one of the best games I've ever played.
And I've played Limbo, but not Inside, and I bloody love Limbo. It was fantastic.
I played neither.
Switch Outside?
Yeah, I played neither, but I need to play both because they look stunning.
Yeah. Limbo is great fun. So
brilliant. And I guess I think it's out now on PS4, but the Switch and the Xbox release is coming later this year, and that's Disco Elysium. Really highly rated. I think it might be point and click. I don't know, but it's like a detective noir story that again has rave reviews, and I'm really looking forward to it. Deliberately don't know much about it. I kind of want to go in fresh and take it as it comes. Those are mine.
Yeah, it's one of those games. I think I played only for a couple of hours, but again, I was like, I'll wait for this on Switch. It's point and clicky, but it's not like a Sam & Max game or a Grim Fandango. It's more. I'm trying to think of a game that's similar to. I can't think of one. But it's
Kentucky Route Zero?
Potentially, yeah. Good point. A little bit more interactive, maybe like an Oxenfree, that kind of game where it's a bit more interactive, a little bit more going to it. You got to move people around, but the story in it and the aesthetic to it are just really, really interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that when I'm tucked up in bed or in a bath on the Switch.
Nice. Mark, I'm going to come to you.
Yeah, there are some pretty big ones I've not played. Stardew Valley, never played that. Hades, still not played it. Slay the Spire, still not played that. Inside, but the biggest one I've never played is apparently Sloppy Wet Wanky Poo.
Quimbo was my favorite. I'm sorry, but
I didn't even know that I hadn't played it because it feels like I've played it quite a lot. But no, apparently it's deep in my backlog, so to speak. Yeah, looking forward to that.
You glossed over Slay the Spire for comedic effect there.
Yeah.
But Mark, that is a game that you would absolutely adore.
I can't wait. Moonlighter as well. You guys, I only took Moonlighter off because it was mentioned elsewhere. Like Fairs as well. I really want to play that. Spelunky, can't wait. Hades. I mean, that looks like I'm gonna love that as well. So there's like all of them. This is the thing. Indies. I agree. I am more passionate about Hades. Rubbish. I am more passionate about indies. I agree with you, Ben, completely. Like
no story.
I'll. What was that?
There's no story, isn't there, Dan? You say Hades, there's no story.
No story.
No story. Okay. Golf Story. That's got a good story.
It's got a story.
It's got a story at least.
Has got a story. More to it.
Yeah, there are some big ones. Slay the Spire, I will be playing it. It's probably a little bit like the fear that I know it'll probably overwhelm my life completely because it looks like when you hear about people talking about it, they're just addicted for months.
It is the one game, and I mean literally the one game that I have to actively go, right, I'm not going to play that.
Right.
Because I could just, if that was the only game I owned, I could just play it. But yeah, it's incredible.
Can I ask Ben, have you played Sloppy Wet Wanky Boobs?
Many a time.
Okay. Right, moving on. No, all of that sounds wonderful.
It does. Wait, let's quickly jump into Mario or Smario.
You play the game, don't you ever blame me. It's all the same. It's all the same. You play the game every time we play. It's Mario, baby.
Oh, Mark.
What? Welcome to Mario Smario Remastered Edition. Mario Smario is the game where I present weird and wonderful bits of video game trivia, one of which is fake AF. The lovely sweaty panel of quote-unquote experts have to use their little brains to work out which one is the big fat lie. Are we ready?
You ready, Ben?
B.
Yeah,
It's
can we
B.
clarify the rules again for
B.
Ben?
And the scores maybe as well, just while we're...
Scores, yeah, I have got the scores somewhere. Just bear with me a sec.
It's
Got
B.
Scott, Scoremaster General. The scores, we've got Dan at 4 so far.
What?
He's at 80%. We've got Lewis at 2. He's at 40%.
Dan did just copy me last week.
Ben at 0%, and I've got a 1 clean sweep so far of the lot of you. Yes, you really need clarification on the rules? I just did that. That was part of the intro. What are you talking
No, just
about?
again, if Ben needed, but it's fine. We can.
Ben.
Ben's fine.
Ben.
Ben's fine.
Okay, he's in. He's in. He gets it.
I've already
Right.
put my answer in.
Today's Mario Smario is an extra special one. It is Metroid or Smetroid.
Ooh.
And this is the OG Metroid release. I will drop these into our lovely chatty chat.
Do WhatsApp this time.
Ben, you're looking a little bit scared there, mate.
No, I'm just trying to clear my mind of any previous knowledge of Metroid.
Okay.
I'm going to open my window so Romuald can hear.
He loves these games. Okay, we got 2 rounds today. Round 1, number 1, on its original release, a peripheral was required to play the game. Number 2, despite following the Japanese release by over a year, the North American version used a password system rather than direct saves. Number 3, Samus appearing as female in the remake Zero mission is an example of retconning, as Metroid 2 was the first game to reveal her female identity. And number 4, it is the best-selling 2D Metroid game to date. So I will just drop those in, and we will see who goes first.
I hate this so much.
Stan, you're up first. So Dan, you get to choose who goes first.
Oh, okay.
Or was it one of them?
Lewis, come on, I've got to go for Lewis. Ben,
Oh,
it was too
come
funny.
on. On its original release, a peripheral was required to play the game. That seems like a stretch. Straight off the bat, I'm not entirely sure about that one. New IP on the NES? Maybe. Probably not. What peripherals did they have on that system? Like, the light gun? Nah. Straight off, I think that might be it. But then I've not read the rest. Despite falling on the Japanese release by over a year, the North American version used a password system rather than direct saves. That sounds like rubbish as well. Samus appearing as female in the remake Zero Mission is an example of retconning. Metroid 2 was the first game to reveal her identity. I think that's probably true. And again, I think the first one, the last one, number 4, best-selling 2D Metroid game to date. I think that's probably correct as well. So I've read through them now, and I've not really given a concrete opinion on anything.
I'd like you to, if you could, please.
So I can't just pass on. That's what.
No, we're not doing that anymore.
I've done that for the last 5 weeks.
Right, the last episode we didn't get to do it, and you're not doing it anymore. We're moving on. You've got to choose. I've decided.
Let me just read them through again. On its original release, a peripheral was required to play the game. Number 2, despite following the Japanese release by over a year, the North American version used a password system. I'm thinking, Ben, it's helping me think. System rather than direct saves. Oh, dearie me. I think this Mario is... I don't like this as pressure. I don't like it.
Come on, man.
It's either 1 or 2. Make a decision, Lewis. Come on. Really?
Typical.
One is it? 1.
Okay. Let's see who's next. So Ben is next. So either Ben, you can go next, or you can make Dan go next.
I'll make Dan go next.
Okay, Dan, you're up, mate.
On its original release, Peripheral is required to play the game. Agree with Lewis. Bit weird. Despite the following the Japanese release by over a year, the North American version used a password system rather than direct saves. There was a password system in the game. I can't remember it, but there was. Samus appearing as female in a remake, Zero Mission, is an example of retconning. I don't know if that was the retcon, but there was retcons within the series. And the best-selling 2D Metroid game to date sounds more accurate. I'm torn between 1, 2, and 4, which is not good.
Go for 3 then.
Yeah. I'm going to go for 1. It's the Mario.
Okay, same as Lewis. Ben, you're up, mate.
Okay. I have tried.
He's 1.
I've tried to clear my mind of all knowledge, but unfortunately, there's just too much knowledge rattling.
So full of knowledge.
Just rattling around in there.
To buy a bigger skip.
I think 1 is a trick question, because of course you need a peripheral to play it. You need a controller. So I think
peripheral though.
No,
You're not plugging yourself directly into a machine, are you?
Ben,
I don't know what machines you play, Ben.
I will clarify.
Don't clarify.
No, I need to, because
Because
that's not what we're talking about. It's not that you need like the actual console to play it.
no, but you need a controller.
This is in addition to
Well, that changes things.
A controller.
Yeah. to the standard console that you'd buy. That's what I mean by that number 1.
Well, that changes things a lot, Mark.
I'm going to go for 1 then. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bosh.
Well, I'm tempted now.
Give us your pretend. Give us your reason.
Okay, so number 2 is one of those where I feel like I've heard that before. That there was a password system, even though there wasn't on the Japanese version. That sounds like something I've heard before. The retconning one was the one I was going to go for originally, when I thought you were being clever about the peripheral thing. Best-selling 2D, I can believe it's the best-selling 2D Metroid game. I would, if I had to guess, I would have said Super Metroid, but yeah, I can see Metroid being bigger then, because I think it sold better in Japan then, and then it gradually just went downhill in Japan. And I can still see the show notes, and they're very off-putting. I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't know whether to take the risk and go for something other than 1 in sheer desperation.
You step out from the others, or are you gonna stick with 1?
I just can't think what the peripheral would be. But if it was in Japan, its original release, and there was some other save system, fuck it, I'm not going to go for 1. I'm going to go for 3. Live fast, die at 40.
Wow. Okay. That put you all through quite a lot of stress there, which was lovely to see. I'm very, very happy about that. Have any of the other guys given any answers in the
We
chat?
have an answer from Alex, and he's gone for, I'm going to say, oh no, it's Eamon. Sorry, Eamon.
Seaman, yeah.
I'm going to
Eamon,
say,
okay.
You say Seaman. I'm going to say 3 is the Mario.
Okay, right. I'll go through these ones. Oh, that was fun. There was a lot of sweating and gibbering around. I loved it. Okay. Let's go to number 2. Despite following the Japanese release by over a year, the North American version used a password system rather than direct saves. That is true. That is a Mario. It came out like over a year later, for August 1986 to August 1987. It came out in the States a lot later. And because of something I'll explain later, they were able to use they weren't able to do a direct save. They had to think of another way of doing it. So they invented the password system, which was very novel in gaming at the time to have that sort of password system.
Was
for
it cheat
saving.
codes as well? You could use cheat codes in it to do something.
There are codes in the game as well for certain things. Yeah,
Vaguely remember that.
There is that too. So number 4, it is the best-selling 2D Metroid game to date. Funny little bit of trivia here. This is a really, really just Mario trivia. I wrote that as this week's Smario because I thought there's no way that's true, but it is actually true. It is. The first game is the best-selling 2D Metroid, and it sold in 2019. It sold 2.73 million.
Wow.
Just tiny numbers.
Yeah.
Really low. The only one, guess what the only one that did more than that is?
Prime?
Obviously, it's not a 2.
Prime.
Yeah, 2.84. Still very tiny numbers. A lot of them haven't even cleared 1 million, so it's just like quite depressing, and you can see why they don't.
It's so strange.
Release them on Switch.
As any other
It'll just beat the Romold.
Yeah, as any other major like IP on Nintendo, with that few sales done as well as that, would have been better bringing Mother back.
Yeah, they probably would. Well, I think Metroid Dread will probably be the best selling. Well, almost certainly.
Yeah, it probably already is.
It probably already is, exactly. So where are we with these? Let's go back. So number 2 and number 4 were both true. So it's between 1 and 3, and we will find out now. This one follows on from number 2 very nicely. So number 1, on its original release, a peripheral was required to play the game. That, guys, is a Mario.
No.
Ben, can we just give Ben massive props? Okay, right? Yeah, Ben. Your first point. So, when the game was originally released back in Japan in August 1986, you needed to have bought the Family Computer Disk System, which looks like a floppy disk drive with a Japanese NES stuck on top of it. And that was only released in Japan. And that's why number 2 is also a Mario.
Is that a peripheral?
It is a peripheral. It's described as a peripheral.
What do you think, Lewis?
Can I just point out here that when you said that, you had to get the thing and plug it in the top. Ben was like this. Yeah,
I'm going to go for 3.
Like he knew.
The Famicom Disk System. We've all heard of it.
The Famicom Disk System. It was only released in Japan and never released outside that. And that allowed them to have save files, which they couldn't have in other games, which is why the North American version used a password system. And which means that number 3 is just complete bullshit. Samus is revealed as being female in a few of the end sequences of the first Metroid game, in the cutscene sort of pictures.
Look at him.
Look at him celebrate. Happy. Well, Eamon, is it? Also got
Eamon.
Eamon. Sorry, Eamon. Is it pronounced Eamon or Eamon? Okay, yeah, Eamon. Got it right. So well played to him. But it's we've got a second round here, so don't rest on your laurels.
Yeah, you need to get both right to get a point.
Another round.
Another round.
Oh my god.
Number 1, the name was almost changed to Space Pirates due to concerns the word Metroid was visually too similar to Mario. Number 2, the name is a portmanteau of the words Metro and Android. Number 3, playing the game at an arcade was the only place players could access the world map. And number 4, the English language version of the NES manual used the pronoun he for Samus. I'll drop these in for you, and we'll find out who goes first on round 2 of Mario or Smario, Metroid or Smetroid. Right. We've got Lewis, so you can choose Lewis. You can choose who goes up first, mate.
Yes, thank you, Mark. I'll choose Ben.
You chose Mark. Mark, you can go first.
Yeah. Ben,
You're choosing me.
Tell us your thoughts, mate.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, the name was almost changed to Space Pirates due to concerns the word Metroid was visually too similar to Mario.
Just fucking rereading them.
Can I just ask what a
twice?
portmanteau is first? Just
2 words smushed together.
English degree. Don't know that. Okay.
That's a smart word.
Benji Kong.
There we go.
Ooh, nice.
Classic example. The name is a portmanteau of the words Metro and Android. Okay. Playing the game at an arcade was the only place players could access the world map. So I don't recall it being an arcade game at all. But if that were to be true, it would be believable, because obviously you could have two screens or a big tall screen with a map at the top. So that makes sense. The English language version of the NES manual used the pronoun he for Samus. I totally believe that. I think that is true. The other three, I'm unclear on. So, gradually whittling them down. I can half believe one as well. That would be a consideration certainly in the US market. So I think that is, I'm going to go for that being true as well. So it's down to the portmanteau or the arcade. God, this is tricky.
Tough.
It's horrible going first as well, isn't it? Thanks, Lewis.
Yeah, it is.
Anytime.
Do you know what? I'll go for 3. I'll go for the arcade one.
All right, and let's see who's up next. Stan, again, you're up next, so you can either choose to go next or you can give it to Lewis. Wow.
I'm going to go next.
Well, okay.
Friends.
Bold.
Mind games. Okay, so name was changed to Spacebar at issues concerns when Metroid similar to Mario. That sounds like bullshit. Portmanteau, fancy word. Words Metro and Android, probably accurate. No mark. Could be Ponzi. Playing the game at an arcade was the only place players could access the world map. Could be true. The English version of the NES manual used the pronoun he for Samus. Also probably is true. Although we did kind of agree that the retcon on 3 on the previous one. That's tough then. So Samus appearing as female in the remake Zero Mission is an example of retconning. Metroid 2 is the first game to reveal her identity. Oh, fuck you, Mark.
Let's rename the game that.
Yeah, I'd do a logo. Let's.
And has.
Please do anyway.
A vast collection.
Yeah.
Here's one I made earlier.
The tattoo.
One does sound. I'm torn. My spidey sense is the same 1, but I'm going to go for 4.
Okay. And Lewis, you're up next, mate.
Ooh, I was pretty sure on 3.
What?
Because it just seemed, I was just pretty sure. But I've changed my mind. I think it might be 2, and it's just coincidental that it potentially could be Metro and Android. And I'm basing this on the fact that Mark likes books by Philip K. Dick, and he wrote a book called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? That is my basis of the answer for this, is number 2, I think, is this Mario.
Okay. So we've got Ben chose 3, Dan chose 4, Lewis chose 2. Has Ewan McGregor, has he chosen anything?
Eamon chose 1.
Eorman.
He chose 1. Okay.
Wow.
Right. Okay. Let's do these in. Okay. Right. Number 4. The English language version of the NES manual used the pronoun he for Samus. That is a Mario. That is true. It did indeed. Nothing much more to say about that. It did. They just clearly at that point hadn't decided on the gender, because it was determined just during development. Number 3.
Bullshit.
Sorry, Dan. Number 3. playing the game at an arcade was the only place players could access the world map. That is also a Mario. That is true as well. It was released on one of the games available on the Play Choice 10 arcade machine, which actually had more than 10 games. I could use that for a future Mario, so hopefully forget that. And the game on the NES, it didn't have a map when you played it on the NES or the disc system, depending where you are in the world. But if you played it on the arcade, it did have a map because you could view it as one of the options on the second screen, a bit like playing like a DS. And you could review a partial map of the world Brinstar, which is the...
Wow. Is that Dan and Ben out?
That's exactly what I said as
out.
well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Damn it.
So it's between Lewis and Beamon.
Yomon.
Because it's either 1 or 2 is the Mario. Number 2, the name is a portmanteau of the words Metro and Android, is a Mario. Lewis, you're also out, mate. I've slept you.
Go ahead, David.
That's the reason for the name choice. They just chucked those together. They wanted like that. They think in Metro, like underground, like Metro system, and Android, obviously, because it's got robots and things in it. And so number 1.
Convinced on my Philip K. Dick answer. Damn it.
Yeah,
Sounded good.
Good reasoning. It did sound good. I love the Philip K. Dick reference, so that was good. That almost gets you a bonus point if such things.
Can it?
It can't. Of course it can't. The name was almost changed to Spice Pirates. She says is just complete bullshit. I made that up, obviously. So thank you for playing, guys. What a lovely, stressful.
Well done, Eamon. 2 for 2.
Eamon got 2 for 2 there.
Yeah,
Well played.
he's beaten Ben.
But he is at home potentially accessing Wikipedia.
You have to assume so.
Yeah.
I don't think he is. He's a man of honor.
I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying that is a possibility for other players.
I don't think they have
There's
that in
no way
Ireland.
that EO man would be doing that.
Yeah. I mean, Ben has been also accessing Wikipedia. He just can't read.
At least Ben is now in the running.
I'm on the board.
He's on the board. So well played. I think that is tonight's news.
It is, yeah.
Ben is
Well played, man.
Arguably more interesting than our actual news.
Yeah, probably.
But you know what's funny? How many interesting facts are there about video games? Because it just they keep coming out of the woodwork.
Video
I looked
games
this up
is
and
the
I
winner.
thought, there won't be anything about this one, and then all these fascinating shit. So interesting.
Brilliant.
I didn't know about the disc system, and you had to have that to play it in Japan. Didn't know half this shit, and I'm a huge Metroid fan. So
Ben's the West Brom of Mario.
Thank you.
Right, lovely. I can't wait to see that updated graphic in Discord. Current stats. Ben, finally visible on that. Okay, I think it's time for us to go. Mark, do you want to tell us where we can find you online?
Hold on, mate. Just need to.
It's going to be a bit indigestion.
That's a bit of indigestion. Yeah, getting emotional.
Do we have to finish now?
No Silk Song. My name's you can find me on Twitter at SmarkTweeter, where I'll be, giving money to all sorts of Kickstarters because I haven't got Silk Song to play.
True. Bollock, what about you?
You can find me at Bollock
Imagine.
on Twitter. Or alternatively, at BenjiCon on Twitter.
Dan?
Relatively polite for you. You can find me at that Dr. Fact, or you can find me at Dan Ward Tweets over on Twitter. Because I've hijacked Lewis's old at, and I find it hilarious and just send out beep boop beep now and again. Or you can go over to Discord. The guy said before.
You're very much like a space pirate, Dan.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. But we can't say the crossplayers.com/Discord at the moment because that doesn't work. That redirect. So if you wanna go over to the Discord, you need to come over to our Twitter page and at us, and we will send you a private link.
Yeah.
That'll work.
But yeah, just to add some light to that, the site is down at the moment because we are rebuilding, and there's some exciting changes afoot.
Yeah.
Which we will elaborate on at a later date.
I'm going to continue rebuilding it drunk right now, which I can't wait for. So.
Well, I'm going to pretend that you never said any of that stuff. But if you want to find me at the Wilsonite, or if you want to find the old me at that Dr. Fact, And if you do know what beep boop beep beep boop beep means, tweet at that Dr. Fact, and you might win a fabulous prize. Probably not. But if you want to catch us all, go to twitter.com/the crossplayers. And if you want to get to Discord, I believe that there's still the pinned tweet on there that has all of our links. So just go there. YouTube.com/the crossplayers, or Patreon, which is patreon.com/crossplayers. Fucking hell, I've had 3 beers now. And this last one's 8.3%, and it's
Whoa.
Wow.
yeah, wow. That is like a breakfast beer for Rich. You can support us from as little as £1 to gain access to 80 plus additional podcasts, as well as some golden nuggets of extra content. That's what Ben said. More details of our updated tiers and perks will be released in the coming weeks. Leave us a review on your podcast application of choice, and if you don't want to do any of that, you can go fuck yourself. But first, tell your friends. Tell your friends and get them involved. Get them in Discord. Who knows? We could become great friends. Skip off into the sunset together,
Creepy.
holding hands. Ben will be there. All right. I'm fed up. See you later.
Okay, bye.
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 Kept you waiting.
Bye.